Hey guys, I'm cmasupra and welcome to another Company of Heroes 2 multiplayer video. In this video, I want to go over the Russian Lend Lease Tactics doctrine, which is one of the two new doctrines that was added to the game in the Elbe Day update at the end of April. The other doctrine that was added is the German Mobile Defense Doctrine, but I've already gone over that one in the previous video, so this is the only one left to go over from the Elbe Day update. So in this game, I am playing as the Russians, my opponent is the Germans, and we are playing on Kolodny Firma Winter Battlefield, so we will be seeing some blizzards this game. Speaking of which, you might notice that the game looks a bit better in this video compared to all my previous Company of Heroes 2 videos, and that is because this is the first video I'm making in Company of Heroes 2 with my new graphics card. It is a GTX 780 Ti, in case you missed the video where I showed myself upgrading the video card in my computer. It's quite an amazing card. I can now max out Company of Heroes 2, finally, after playing on nothing but minimum graphics the entire time. So what do you get in the Russian Lend Lease Tactics doctrine? Well, at 2 CPs, you get a DShK machine gun, which is the same as the Russian machine gun that is already at tier 2, except that it costs 60 manpower extra, it costs 300 manpower. That's to account for the ability to use armor-piercing rounds with the gun. You can use the gun to penetrate things like light vehicles such as scout cars and half-tracks, so it's quite a useful machine gun if your opponent gets light vehicles. At 4 CPs, you get an ability that'll cost you 100 munitions, and it'll give you basically 20 fuel. It does say that the fuel amount is variable, but I haven't noticed it varying. Every single time I've used the ability, it hasn't cost me. It's given me 20 fuel, so I don't know why it says it'll be variable, but it's not. It'll give you 20 fuel for 100 munitions. The way it gives you this fuel is by flying a plane over the map and then dropping it wherever you told it to drop the fuel. So do be careful that your opponent does not have any AAA out on the field, any anti-air. If they do have any form of anti-air, your plane will most likely get shot down. It is extremely vulnerable to anti-air. The one time I've lost a plane, I lost it to a single machine gun on top of one of my opponent's Panzer IVs, so it's a very, very vulnerable plane. At 5 CPs, you get an M5 Halftrack, which is an American Halftrack, and inside the Halftrack is a Guards Rifle Squad. However, unlike the normal Guards Rifle Squads, it will not have a PTRS anti-tank rifle, and it won't have the ability to upgrade to a DP-28 light machine gun. Instead, it's going to be a Guards Rifle Squad that comes with DShK light machine guns, DShK submachine guns, there we go, and SVT semi-auto rifles, so it's going to be a pretty good squad at close range. There are no upgrades available to get PTRS rifles or anything like that. Also at 5 CPs, you get a Conscript repair kit, which just lets your conscripts repair vehicles, simple as that. It's a passive ability. At 9 CPs, you get a Sherman M4C for actually a decent amount of manpower and fuel. I forget the exact numbers right now, but it's a decent amount of manpower and fuel cost. But it is a Sherman M4C. It has the 76mm gun, and it is basically just a better version of the T-34. It's more expensive than the T-34, but it is just a better version of it. It seems like it has better armor and has a better gun overall. It's just slightly worse against infantry than the T-34 is. The T-34 will be slightly better against infantry, but it's still... I would say it's just a better T-34 overall, because it'll still be pretty good against infantry. So those are the things that you get with this doctrine. So now to explain how I personally play this doctrine. It's kind of a different... You have to think differently when you're using this doctrine in Company of Heroes 2, I feel. Because with most doctrines, you shape your playstyle around the doctrine that you pick. Like, if you pick a doctrine that has a Tiger or something as the Germans, you're not going to go buying a bunch of heavy tanks and wasting your fuel by taking up to tier 4. That would be stupid, right? So, you kind of shape your playstyle against the doctrine that you pick when you're playing other doctrines. With this doctrine, though, I've noticed that you don't really want to shape your playstyle around it, because it doesn't have any way for you to do that. I don't know how to explain it, but just trust me when I say that you don't want to shape your playstyle around this doctrine. What I found myself doing when I use this doctrine is just playing the Soviets however I would play them normally, and just playing them like that. I completely ignore the fact that I've chosen a doctrine. I can't even use any abilities until 2 CPs anyways. So I just play the doctrine as if I didn't even pick the doctrine in the beginning, as well as kind of in the mid-game and late game, although I do use more abilities towards the mid-game and late game. At least in the early game, you just play it as if you never picked a doctrine, and you just play as Soviets as you normally would if you hadn't yet picked a doctrine. That's the way I play this doctrine anyway. So, while I've been explaining a whole bunch of things at the beginning of this video, it seems like I have actually captured most of the map, which is a great thing as the Soviets, because Soviets are not good at defending like the Germans are. I'm almost at 2 CPs, which means I'll almost have the ability to buy a DShK machine gun, but remember me saying that it's 60 manpower more than the other machine gun that the Soviets already get at Tier 2? It's not really worth buying the DShK in my opinion, unless you know your opponent's going to have light vehicles, or you need an instant MG and you can't afford to spend the time for the MG in Tier 2 to build, or if you just haven't even built Tier 2, that's another option, although I always build Tier 2 as the Russians. So, it's up to you. I don't see it being useful unless you know your opponent has light vehicles, though. I am laying mines in places, which is great, although that one mine sitting next to that campfire right there is actually going to cause me some problems later this game. I'm not going to say why it'll cause me problems, but it will be causing me problems. I also have a few mines in other places, I believe. I know there's one on the road, north of the engineers that you see on the screen, at the very, very top of it. Wow, I really got a huge lead at the beginning of this game. I did not realize that. But regardless, this was a good game to show off the Doctrine. It looks like I did buy a DShK machine gun. I didn't bother buying one from Tier 2 because I don't even have Tier 2 built yet. So I guess if I wanted an MG, then that's the way to go because you don't have Tier 2. I think I also decided to buy one in case my opponent got light vehicles, because he actually is getting control of the northern field point and getting some points up there. I'm not defending very well up there. I'm mostly defending the middle and the south, so he might get some light vehicles here if he thinks he has enough fuel to do it. We'll have to find out. I am cutting him off, though, by taking this point. Hooray! Hello there, Grenadier Squad. There's a mine right next to you. It'd be great if you could just run over it. It'd be really great. I don't know if he's gonna do it. Oh, he almost fired that grenade. Would have been nice to make him cost the munitions. Even though he would have missed. Oh, I heard a grenades yell. Yup, I just lost the engineer squad. Nice play by my opponent. He used that grenade appropriately when I was distracted. I don't know if he knew I was distracted or not, but good play regardless. I am floating a lot of manpower and fuel right now. I am floating a ton of it. I should probably spend it on something. It looks like I already do have the medic healing in my HQ. I'm buying AT grenades with the expectation of seeing light vehicles soon. I probably could have bought Molotovs first, quite honestly. I don't think light vehicles are coming anytime soon this game, based on what I've seen so far watching this. Die, Grenadier Squad. Oh, he's down to one man. Can I get him on retreat? I don't think it's gonna happen. He has too much health. Ooh, lights turn on! Because the blizzard's coming in 34 seconds. Molotovs, here we go. And then I'll buy an engineer squad, that's what it's called, because I need to build Tier 2. I did lose my previous one to that nice rifle grenade by my opponent. So far I am dominating this match. It is worth mentioning that, but I'm not showing you guys these Doctrine games with the intention of showing you guys good games. I try to get good games in them. I don't always get good games though. But this was a good game for showing off the Doctrine, which is really the point of this video. I should mention that here at this point. Alrighty. I think my opponent has that top field point connected to his base. I don't know if he does, but I believe he does. Oh, that's a lot of infantry. Molotov, maybe, and then retreat. Oh, I'm gonna lose this squad. I'm actually not losing that squad. Wow, I fully expected them to die. I lost too much manpower there. So here you can see the DShK machine gun actually firing, and as you saw, it's good at suppressing. It does have a narrow fire arc though, like the other machine gun that the Russians get at Tier 2. So it's nothing like an MG42 in terms of that, but it does have good damage and good suppression ability, so I like it a lot. Soldiers are freezing. It's best to put them next to a campfire. What are those things called even? I don't remember what they're called. I call them campfires now, apparently. So my opponent is capturing that middle munitions point. Let's go find out what is over there. I have bought another DShK machine gun, spent the extra 300 manpower on it. Or the extra 60, rather, over the one at Tier 2, because I still haven't built Tier 2. Can I kill this entire Grenadier squad? He stopped retreating, for whatever reason. Crazy AI. I might be able to kill this entire Grenadier squad, especially with my DShK machine gun sitting in that building. And I do, and the DShK didn't even have to do any work. Build another campfire. Oh, hello there, MG42. I should probably just retreat the squad. Yeah. So the way I use machine guns, oh, there we go, I'm building Tier 2. But the way I use machine guns as the Russians is, because they can set up and deploy so fast, I use them kind of offensively, really. I don't use them anything like I use MG42s. As I am burping. But yeah, I don't use them anything like MG42s, I use them kind of mobily, so I'm not afraid to leave them on their own too much. Oh yeah, by the way, we saw our first scout car, so my opponent does have light vehicles this game, and it's a good thing I got 2 DShKs and AT grenades. I am pretty well set for countering his light vehicles. I've had most of the map anyways, so it's no surprise that I should be ready to counter his light vehicles. Oh, here we go. So I choose the armor-piercing rounds on the DShK in this building, and let's see how much damage it does to the scout car. It does a decent amount of damage. It barely shot at the scout car. He realized I was using AP rounds. I just lost a DShK over here. That's not good. I just gave a DShK to my opponent. But I wasn't shooting at the armored car, or the scout car, armored car, yeah, the armored car for very long. But I did do a decent amount of damage, so the armor-piercing rounds on the DShK actually do a decent amount of damage if you can get your opponent to stay in their fire arc. I've killed quite a few vehicles today, as I was playing a bunch of games with this Doctrine, using the DShK with armor-piercing rounds, so I know that it is very effective. But this opponent apparently actually knew what armor-piercing rounds were on a DShK, and knew to avoid them. Well, alright, so my opponent has taken the DShK. There's a one-man Grenadier squad over here. There's a G43 Grenadier squad over here as well. Let's see what I can do. Can I Molotov the Grenadier squad? I do, but he runs away. Probably should have Molotov the MG, really. I don't know why I didn't. I do retreat and manage to survive. Does he survive? Oh, my opponent's Grenadier squad barely survived that. Hello there, MG42. I'm just gonna run over here to this field point and take it from you. Hoorah! Yeah, run away. Ooh, just barely made that. So close. Hello there, Grenadier squad. Don't mind if I shoot at you. The MG42 is backing up. He knows that he's at risk of me flanking around the house. Oh, can this DShK finish off this Grenadier squad? It very well might be able to. I'm watching the minimap to find out. It looks like he does get away into his base, though. Tier 3 is built. In case you guys don't know, the way I play Russians is I build Tier 2 and then Tier 3, and I get either a T70 as fast as possible, or I just get a T34. So I'm playing Russians as I normally would with any other Doctrine, or if I hadn't picked a Doctrine, which, like I said, is the way to play this Doctrine, and then you can use abilities from this Doctrine as you see fit, but it doesn't have like a specific play style that you should play as, so I'm just playing Russians as I would normally play them. I have unlocked the ability to spend 100 munitions to get 20 fuel, but I don't really need that ability right now. I'm floating almost 200 fuel right now. I built Tier 3. A T34 costs 100? Yeah, 100 fuel, so I can even afford another T34 if I get the manpower soon. Ooh, side of a machine gun. I just happened to flank this guy. Oh yeah, I will gladly shoot at you. And I have killed him. And I will take that gun for myself.
Conscript's here. There will be no excuse for failure is ours.
Alright, I got my DShK back.
They need an MG squad to capture that.
I have unlocked both of the 5 CP abilities, so I can unlock, or I can call in the Halftrack with the Guards Rifle Squad in it, and I can also use Conscripts to repair vehicles, except I don't actually have any vehicles. I'm just building my first T-34 right now. Almost at 8 CPs, and then I'll be 1 CP away from getting the Sherman. Like I said, the Sherman is basically a better version of the T-34. It's more mobile, I think. I'm not sure about that. But it seems like its armor and gun are also both better than the T-34s, but it is a more expensive version of it. Wow, that was a lucky rifle grenade. Okay, guy. Just gonna Molotov this Panzer Grenadier squad before it becomes unpinned and starts shooting at me. That's not what I would want it to do. And it retreats. Excellent. Now I just gotta deal with this squad, except I know that I can't, so I retreat. And I send my T-34 over there, I believe. Yep, my T-34 is up there. Come here, Grenadier Squad, you want to try and Faust me? Try and Faust me. Every single one of my infantry squads can repair my tank except for my DShK machine gun. So try and Faust me here. I don't even really care if you do, but I might as well kite them, right? If I have nothing better to do, I might as well just kite. Take the time to kite. Alright, what is he doing? Did he just back me up so that he could capture the machine gun with a different squad? He did not, apparently. I thought he did when I was playing, but he apparently did not. Oh, my mine just exploded there. Okay, so I was actually wrong. That particular mine did not cause me troubles. Later on, a mine in the exact same spot caused me troubles, or maybe that was a different game that I played. I played so many games with this Doctrine today. Maybe that was a different game, even. I don't know. Oh, this Conscript squad's screwed. My opponent dodged my Molotov. Good opponent. Why am I not retreating? I need to be retreating. My DShK has been brought up to suppress the Grenadiers. Can my Conscript squad get away? Yes, they can, thanks to the DShK. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have if I didn't bring the DShK over here. And grenade incoming. They lose 2 guys. Not too bad. Hello there, Grenadier Squad. Meet my T-34. So I have called in a Sherman, and the Sherman has the ability to have a 50 cal on top upgraded, just like it could in Company of Heroes 1. It does not have the Mind Flail ability, I should go ahead and say that. It does not have it. I wish it did. I would use the heck out of it. That thing is so much fun. Especially when you're floating munitions, like I am right now, sitting on 367 munitions with nothing to spend them on except for, like, mines. But I don't have but 1 engineer squad. So here we can see our first tank battle in this video, a Sherman versus a Stug, both frontally. I had actually never faced a Stug in my Sherman before, despite having played a ton of games before this one against the Germans with this Doctrine. So I didn't know who would win that, a Sherman or a Stug, but as we will see later on in this game, the Sherman wins easily. The Stug has no chance against a Sherman, unless it's like 2 Stugs versus 1 Sherman, as you will also see later this game. So I did bring in my T-34 for support, because like I said, I don't know who wins the engagement between a Stug and a Sherman. That Panzer Grenadier squad almost annihilated my squads there. I'm glad I heard them firing. And I send the T-34 over here to deal with the squad, because the T-34 is better against infantry than the Sherman is, and the Sherman can hopefully deal with the Stug better than the T-34 can. I get some side shots on the Stug with my Sherman because my opponent forgot that my Sherman was over there, or didn't realize he was over there, rather. I don't think he forgot, he never knew it was there. Stug is now shooting at my Sherman. I either need to back up my Sherman or move it forward into shooting range, and I decided to back up because, like I said, I don't know who wins the engagement between a Sherman and a Stug. I do have an AT gun that I bought to help support my Sherman. I also bought it because I didn't know which tank would win that engagement, And the fact that my opponent does have a Stug now and has actually had fuel for a decent amount of the game means that my opponent might have some more tanks on the way as well. And so some anti-tank would be nice to have. Scout car, can I get an AT grenade off on it? That would be nice. Over in the middle, I am trying to actually lure that Stug forward. I want him to be fighting both my Sherman and my T-34 at the same time, but I'm not having much success at luring him. He's really firing at long range, because his range is longer than mine with the Stug. So he can fire when I can't fire, and that makes it hard for me to kill him. Now you may have seen that he did move up just in front of my Fog of War, so I move up with my Sherman, my AT gun, and my Sherman can both fire at this guy, and he is so low on health. I could probably give chase with my Sherman, and I do decide to do just that. I'm not worried about going outside the range of my AT gun, and oh, there he goes. I killed it. I wanted to kill the entire tank. I don't want him to recrew the thing, but oh well, I'm not gonna risk getting Panzerfausted right now. Oh, hello there, Pioneer Squad. And he's dead, alright. So now I go forward with my T-34 because my Sherman's on half health. Sherman is a better T-34, but it's not that good when it's at half health. You don't want to send in the half health tank, it'll die pretty easily. So I send my T-34 in, it kills the pack amazingly, I'm surprised it did, and then there's two Grenadier squads. I'm screwed, I'm getting Fausted here, yep. The Stug carcass is still there, waiting to be remanned. Recruit. Hello there, Scout Car again. Long time no see. He's probably going for this engineer squad. I gotta be careful of that. Apparently my Sherman killed the Stug again. My opponent must have remanned it. Recruited it, rather. I keep saying remand. I mean recruit. My engineer squad is taking care of the Scout Car, but I decided to throw an AT grenade anyways. Might as well help him out. The flamethrower does a lot of damage, but I don't want to risk losing that fight. So the Scout Car is dead. There's an MG42 firing at those two squads. I just decided to retreat them.
Understood. Red Army, it will be ours. Take it. Your orders. We need to take that point, comrade.
Sherman's firing at something. What is it firing at? Oh, probably one of the... Probably a Grenadier or something. I don't know. Move my AT gun up. My Sherman is repaired thanks to the Conscript squad. I must say that Conscripts having the ability to repair vehicles is really nice, especially when you buy a bunch of vehicles. Because as you can see, I have a T-34 and a Sherman so far. I'm going to have a lot more vehicles than that by the end of this game. I'll say that much. Am I actually losing this game right now? No, I'm 1 VP ahead. Now we're tied, so I am basically losing the game now. He has 2 VPs, I have 1. I was looking at veterancy on the Sherman, and it appears to be pretty similar to the T-34. First, veterancy gives you the ability to capture, and then the second two give you better, like, accuracy and whatever else. Another Sherman is out on the field now, my second Sherman this game. I guess I should mention that you guys are probably familiar with the balance between a T-34 and a Stug. Well, a T-34 versus a Stug, and a T-34 versus a Panzer IV. The T-34 will lose in both of those one-on-one engagements. The Sherman, however, will win in both of those one-on-one engagements, so it turns the battle... it turns the tank battles around, because normally the Germans will win one-on-one if you have about an equal tank. But the Sherman makes it so that about an equal tank... Well, Sherman versus Stug, the Sherman wins. Sherman versus Panzer IV, the Sherman wins. So, you know what I mean. It's like turned around to where the Russians have the advantage instead of the Germans. So I do like the Sherman a lot, but I feel like it would have been better at 1 CP earlier. It just comes a little bit late in my opinion. You guys saw how dominating I was earlier this game, so my opponent actually had got vehicles kind of late. If he had gotten tanks, I probably wouldn't have been able to counter them, because I only had a T-34 and an AT gun. Oh, don't lose the... Oh, I just lost the Sherman. Oh well. And my opponent finishes it off rather than leaving it decrewed. So now, I tried to kill that Stug that killed my Sherman, but I failed at doing it. And that engineer squad needs to retreat. So you saw how my Sherman died. There were Panzer Shreks and there was a Stug, and the Sherman did not stand much of a chance. I did say that the Sherman is basically a better T-34, but I also said that the T-34 is better against infantry, and that is definitely true. Hello, Stug. Why are you going head-on against my AT gun? Well, you're now one hit away from death, so I'm gonna go give chase with my Sherman. I don't think you have any other Panzer Shreks over here. You do have a Panzer Faust squad, though. Okay. Yep, let's get rid of them, and now let's go move forward. And hopefully I will be able to kill off that Stug before it retreats back to my opponent's base. Oh, he's hitting me. Okay, he saw me before I saw him. Let's just back it up now. Because now I'm also one hit away from death, and he'll probably win because he can see before I can. He can see me before I can see him. He can shoot farther as well. Now I have called in the Halftrack ability, which costs 540 manpower and 30 fuel. It's a lot of manpower, sort of a small amount of fuel. The fuel is really for the cost of the Halftrack, and the manpower is really for the cost of the Guards Rifle Squad. But as you can see, this is how good they are against infantry with the DShK submachine guns and the SVT semi-auto rifles. They just annihilated that Grenadier squad. I've actually killed a lot of individual Grenadier squads that were unsupported with this call-in, the Halftrack and Guards Rifle call-in. It's very good against infantry. But if you come up against any kind of vehicles or infantry that are supported by other infantry or AT guns or anything like that, then it's pretty screwed. You'll also notice that I have gotten a damaged engine on the Halftrack thanks to the Panzerfaust my opponent sent in it when I went at point blank against his Grenadier squad. That is a common issue I'm finding with the Halftrack, is that it's not too good unless you go in point blank thanks to the Pepeshkas that the Guards Rifles get, so I kind of feel like maybe you should take out the Guards Rifle from the Halftrack and keep them as the lone squad going on their own. While the Halftrack, either you upgrade it with the Quad 50 cal, just like you could the American Halftrack in Company of Heroes 1, which shoots at planes and infantry from long range, or you should put some other squad in it, probably an engineer squad that can repair it, engineer squad with a flamethrower preferably, so they can get in close, do lots of damage, and then actually get repaired, instead of having to slowly limp back to base like my Halftrack is doing right now. Maybe that's the right way to play the Halftrack, because I haven't had much success with it, with the Guards Rifle squad in there. It always seems to get Panzerfausted when I go at point blank, and it's not very good at long range, so that's been my experience.
Your construction is complete. Returning to base, comrade.
And there we go, it's repaired thanks to the conscripts. So you saw I considered getting the Quad 50, and I decided against it. I wanted to keep the Guards Rifle squad in the Halftrack. I wanted to keep trying it out. Like I said, this was one of the later games that I played. I played a whole bunch of games with the Doctrine earlier, and I played a bunch of games using the Halftrack. And my experience was that it's just hard to use in close range, but I wanted to give it more tries, see if I could use the two squads together. Keep the Guards Rifle squad in the Halftrack and not put something else in there instead. There we go. You're not gonna Panzerfaust me, buddy. No, no, no. Alright, I'm gonna go over here to the left side where I'm not within Panzerfaust range, and I'm just gonna shoot at you. That's the way you solve a problem when the opponent does not want to let you shoot at them by coming to you. You have to go to them and then shoot at them. Do I want to buy another Sherman? I can afford it. I just got the ability to afford it. Do I want another Sherman, though? Or would I prefer more infantry? Or would I prefer another Halftrack? Decisions, decisions. Well, I can't afford a Sherman anymore, now that I've reinforced a bunch of squads. So now I've used the ability that gives me 20 fuel at the cost of 100 munitions. You can see that on the minimap, the plane is flying, and that is an IL-2. At least it looked like one when it was shot down, the one time that I had it shot down. And as you can see, it'll drop fuel in the base, or as you'll see pretty soon here, it'll drop fuel in the base. There it is, the two packages, and they are for 10 fuel each. I've actually never had it not give me 20 fuel, so I don't know why the thing says it varies, like I said. It really doesn't. Uh-oh, T-34 is in a bit of trouble here. I do have a Sherman here. My AT gun's facing the wrong way, though. Sherman's getting side shots on the Stug. T-34 is backed up and safe. I have an MG here now, and I do have AP rounds on the MG, should I need them. They're just not very good against tanks, obviously. It looks like my T-34 is safe for now. My opponent has backed off and has not decided to push forward again, so I'll be able to repair my T-34, hopefully. I brought my Halftrack over here. Can I annihilate the Grenadier squad? I should be able to here. Yep, I did. Now, one of the benefits of this being a Halftrack and not some other random people carrier is that I can actually reinforce from the thing. So I'm using it as a reinforce point right now, but there is a Stug firing at it. This is a bit dangerous for the Halftrack. I'm trying to kill the Stug. I'm trying and failing. I have too many things going on. I can't click fast enough. Stug keeps missing my Halftrack. Oh my god, I need to move my... Well, now I can't move it. It's dead. Yeah, way too many things going on. I couldn't click fast enough. Let's try and go AT grenade this Stug before it runs away. If I get lucky. I even ooh-ah to try and make sure I get it before it runs away. But it's ran away and I can't see it over here anywhere. So let's just accept the loss. Oh, and I just lost a Conscript squad. Let's avoid losing this MG as well. Yeah, they get away just fine. Alright, so I have lost the Halftrack. As you saw, it's actually a very, very weak Halftrack if any AT is shooting at it, whether that's in the form of a tank or an AT gun or whatever. It's a very weak Halftrack, but I've found that you have to get in close range for the Guards Rifle Squad to do their job, so it's probably best if you put some other unit inside of the Halftrack that can actually repair the Halftrack instead of the Guards Rifle Squad. So the Guards Rifle Squad is on its own now. I did manage to get it out before the Halftrack died, and so maybe we'll see how the Guards Rifle Squad does alone without the Halftrack later on in this video. I don't remember if I used it this game alone or not. I can't remember. So my opponent has a Panzer IV over there. I turn around my AT gun to face it. Where is the Panzer IV going to go? Is it going to come towards my AT gun? No, it does not. It goes closer to my base. Alright, turn the AT gun again. To the left. Get some side shots on the Panzer IV, hopefully. I do have a T-34 and 2 Shermans over here. So they'll be able to pretty easily take care of the Sherman, or the Panzer IV. My opponent does not have a Sherman. Thank goodness. I would hate it if he did. So I send 1 Sherman over here first, because I know 1 Sherman can beat 1 Panzer IV head-on. I also send the other one over to the right to flank in case there's something else. The Panzer IV, luckily for me, runs over a mine that I placed earlier, and oh, hello there, Stug. Okay, let's focus on the Panzer IV first, and then we'll kill the Stug. There we go, Panzer IV is dead, now we kill the Stug. I have 1 Sherman shooting at the back, 1 shooting at the front, and remember that the Stug loses 1-on-1 against a Sherman. It definitely loses 1-on-2 against 2 Shermans. So I easily won that engagement. My opponent just lost 2 tanks. He did not support them well enough. And that was the prowess of the Shermans. They are really good tanks. But like I said, I do feel like they come a little bit too late. So here we can see the Guards Rifles on their own against a Grenadier squad up at close range. They fared very well. They have 5 out of the 6 men still remaining, so they're doing well. You also saw how much damage they did to that Grenadier squad.
Move orders received. Rifleman ready.
I have 2 Vet 3 Conscript squads already. I am doing well.
Holding it is enemy is reduced to 200 points.
Sweet, my opponent has 200 points remaining. By the way, I forgot to mention that I used the ability that costs 100 munitions and gives you 20 fuel. I only used it because I wanted to show it off in this video. I didn't actually need the fuel, as you might have noticed. You might have been thinking, like, why on earth did you use that? But I had like 600 and some munitions, and I hadn't used the ability yet. It was the only ability I hadn't used this game, and I figured this was going to be the video I showed you guys, so I wanted to use the ability just to use it. I didn't have much else better to do with my munitions. That was a Panzer Grenadier squad charging my Guards Rifle squad that you may have noticed. Panzer Grenadiers win one-on-one, but my Guards Rifle squad was also not at full health. They had 4 out of 6 men. So maybe that was an unfair fight, but I would believe that Guards Rifles lose one-on-one against Panzer Grenadiers because Guards Rifle have fewer SMGs, I would say. I think. I don't actually know if that's true, but they should lose one-on-one. I can afford another Sherman, which means I actually have a decent amount of manpower and fuel. I believe the Sherman, yep, 380 manpower and 135 fuel. Yeah. I was gonna say I believe it costs that much, and then I moused over it and saw that I was right, so excellent. I don't know how much a T-34 costs. I know it costs 100 fuel though, so the Sherman is more expensive in terms of fuel and probably more expensive in terms of manpower. I don't have costs memorized well enough yet, despite having played this game since it came out, which is I don't know how long ago. A long time ago though. But yes, another Sherman's on the field, so I now have 3 Shermans and 1 T-34. You can tell that I'm buying Shermans because I find them to be better. I am winning one-on-one against every single one of his tanks, unless he shoots me at long range with a Stug, or I can't shoot back. Hello there, MG42. Like I said before, the only real downside to the Sherman versus a T-34 is that the Sherman's not as good against infantry, but it's still good enough against infantry. Every tank is good enough. Even like a Panther, which is terrible against infantry, is still good enough in this game, because this game, tanks just win it because of how good they are against infantry, and the way that infantry jump back when they're shot at, even if the shot misses, is just really detrimental to infantry. So here is the point where I actually learned that the Sherman wins one-on-one against a Stug. I saw my first shot do like half damage, or took off half the health from the Stug. I was just like, oh, okay, a Sherman easily wins that engagement. Alright, I'm not going to worry about Sherman versus Stug engagements anymore then. I can just frontally take on a Stug and guaranteedly win, as long as I'm not at too low of health. Uh-oh. That's another Stug. This Sherman's on very low health. Bring up the other Sherman. Oh, the other one didn't get away in time. Alright, time to avenge your friend, Mr. Sherman. Oh, you're so low on health now. Yeah. And my Sherman just deflected a shot from the Stug. Like I said, Sherman wins one-on-one versus the Stug. My enemy has 50 points remaining. I have all 3 VPs. My opponent is very desperate to try and get this 1 VP over here. It is my least defended VP, I will give him that. He is trying hard to go for my least defended VP, but it's still pretty well defended. He did not have the manpower, or rather units, to attack me and succeed in that attack to get that VP. I had too many tanks and infantry units. 25 points remaining. I have 666 munitions. I have so many munitions that I could be spending and converting into fuel if I needed to. I found that really manpower is my limiting resource. I'm not running out of fuel with this doctrine, I'm running out of manpower too fast, so I'm finding the ability to convert 100 munitions into 20 fuel is actually pretty useless for me, but maybe it's just my playstyle. And the game ends. There we go. I win. And I think that was a good game showing you guys the Russian Lend Lease Tactics doctrine. I did use every single ability in the doctrine. I'll list them out once we go back into the game, because I don't remember them off the top of my head. I did use the DShK machine gun, and I even used the armor-piercing rounds against that scout car towards the beginning of the game. I didn't kill the scout car, but you saw how much damage it did, and I've told you that I've killed a bunch of like scout cars and half-tracks with that thing when the enemy stays in the arc of fire of the machine gun, so it's a very good machine gun against light vehicles. I used the munitions, the ability to convert 100 munitions into 20 fuel this game, even though I didn't actually need the fuel. I just wanted to show the ability. Like I said, the plane is very vulnerable to AA or AAA, so don't let your opponent have any, or don't use the ability when your opponent has any anti-air on the field. I used the half-track ability. Like I said, it's probably best if you replace the Guards Rifle squad with something else in there, probably an engineer squad, so you can repair the thing when it gets damaged. I used the Conscript repair ability quite a bit to repair my vehicles, and I bought a bunch of Shermans, as you saw, and they are actually pretty decent. The one downside, one pretty big downside of this doctrine, I will say, is that if your opponent gets super tanks in the game, such as a tiger or an elephant, this doctrine has a grand total of 0 counters to that tiger or elephant, so you better have your own counters in the form of AT guns or not ISU 152s, that's a doctrine unit. I meant to say SU 85s, SU 76s for artillery, AT guns for artillery. But yeah, you better have your own counters to those units because this doctrine has 0 counters to it, unless you just buy like a ton of Shermans or tons of T-34s and flank around the elephant or tiger and kill it that way. But that's hard to do when your opponent supports their tiger or elephant. I suppose if they don't support it, then it's a very valid tactic to do. You'll just own that heavy tank, but yeah, if your opponent gets a super tank like an elephant or a tiger, then there's really no counter to it in this doctrine, and you better have your own counter. But that's really the only downside to this doctrine, I suppose. Other than that, you really play this doctrine however you so choose. So that is going to be it for this doctrine. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I can recommend this doctrine, kinda, sorta. It's just like, meh. It's okay. It depends on your playstyle, I suppose. You play Soviets however you want with this doctrine, and then you can use the doctrine to complement your playstyle, no matter what your playstyle is. It's just a question of, are you worried about late game tanks or not? I always am. I prefer doctrines that have heavy tanks at the end or prevent the late game from ever happening. But that's just me. Anyways, like I said, hope you all enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys. Now this video is going to be about the German Mobile Defense Doctrine, which is one of the 2 new doctrines that was added in the Elbe Day update, and in my personal opinion, this doctrine is actually not that good. The way you're supposed to play it seems, is as a